All right, welcome to the explainer. So, you've probably got a work Gmail, a personal one, maybe even one for a side hustle. I mean, who doesn't these days? But what seems like a smart way to stay organized can get, well, messy. And not just messy, but risky. Today, we're going to break down how to actually master this whole multiple account thing.
So let me ask you this. Are your multiple Gmail accounts secretly working against you? Because, you think they're all separate and organized, right? But the way most of us manage them, well, it actually links them together behind the scenes. And that creates a whole bunch of problems you probably haven't even thought about.
Okay, so here's the plan for today. We're going to start with what I call the multiple Gmail headache. Then we'll look at Google's own built-in solution and why it's not really a solution at all. We'll uncover the unseen dangers, lay out the 3 pillars of real security, and then dive into what's called the cloud isolation advantage. By the end, you'll know how to truly master your digital identities. Let's jump in. Okay, let's dive into this, the multiple Gmail headache. We all do it, right? We juggle different accounts because it just makes sense. You want to keep your work stuff separate from your personal life, and that side project needs its own space. It's supposed to keep everything clean and organized. Supposed to, anyway. And I mean, the reasons are solid. You get that clear separation so you're not accidentally sending a client message from your personal account. You can use one for riskier signups to protect your main identity. It definitely boosts productivity when you can switch quickly. And for business, it's crucial for compliance and keeping clean records. These are all real, tangible benefits. But, and this is a big but, you only get them if you're managing your accounts the right way.
And for most of us, what seems like the right way is just using Google's own built-in feature. It's right there, it's easy, it's the obvious first step. But honestly, this is exactly where the problems really start to creep in.
You see, here's the promise versus the reality. The promise is so simple. Sign into all your accounts, switch between them, easy peasy. But the problem, the technical reality, is that under the hood, all those accounts are sharing one single browser context. They aren't truly separate. And that, right there, is the fatal flaw. This whole shared context thing is what causes those super frustrating moments that I bet you've experienced. You open a new tab and poof, it opens the wrong Google account. Your work search history starts showing up in your personal YouTube suggestions. It feels like a glitch, right? But these aren't just minor bugs. They're symptoms of a much bigger problem, one that actually puts your security at risk.
And that brings us straight to the unseen digital dangers. This is where we move past annoyances and into the real risks of managing your accounts the easy way. This is the stuff you really need to pay attention to.
Now, check this out. This is one of the biggest risks, and it's a direct quote from the research. Rapid signouts and sign-ins from the same browser context trigger Google's security algorithms, prompting verification challenges or account lockouts. Just think about that for a second. The very act of trying to be efficient, switching between your accounts quickly, could make Google's security system think you're a threat and lock you out of your own stuff. That's not ideal, to say the least. And this slide really gets to the heart of the misunderstanding. On the left is what we think is happening. Each Gmail tab is its own little world, a clean slate. But on the right is what's really happening. Shared cookies, a shared cache. It all combines to create a single digital fingerprint that effectively links all of your accounts together in Google's eyes. This fingerprint leak is the core technical problem that a real solution has to solve. So how do we fix this? How do we actually solve that fingerprint problem? Well, the solution is built on what we can call the 3 pillars of security. Think of these as the fundamental, non-negotiable principles for any multi-account setup that's actually secure. Okay, pillar number 1, identity separation. This is crucial. It means that each of your Gmail accounts has to look like it's coming from a completely different computer. It needs its own unique browser fingerprint and its own network origin. To Google, it shouldn't look like one person with 5 accounts. It should look like 5 different people on 5 different machines. Pillar number 2 is technical isolation. This is all about the data. Your cookies, your local storage, your cache, all that stuff has to be completely siloed for each account. Think of it like building a digital firewall between them. What you do in one account's house can't bleed over and affect the others. No cross-contamination, period. And finally, pillar number 3, behavioral normalization. Now, this one's a little more subtle, but it's incredibly important. Your activity needs to look, well, human. You have to avoid patterns that look robotic or automated. By mimicking natural human rhythms, you avoid tripping Google's security alarms just for being a power user. So the big question is, how on earth do we achieve all three of those pillars at the same time? The answer lies in a strategy called cloud isolation. This is a huge step up. We're moving beyond just using different browser profiles on your own computer and into a whole new category of tool that's specifically designed to solve this exact problem. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the Google switcher. 0 real isolation, high fingerprint risk. It's fine for casual use, maybe. Then you have browser profiles, which a lot of us use. It's a step up, sure, giving you partial local isolation, but the risk is still medium. The real game changer is cloud isolation, which you see with tools like Sendwin. The isolation is complete because it's in the cloud, and the fingerprint risk is very low. For power users, for teams, for anyone serious about this, the choice is pretty clear.
So, what makes this cloud isolation approach so much better? Well, for starters, each tab you open is basically its own separate remote browser. You can even assign a unique IP address to each one. Everything is protected with military-grade encryption. But here's my favorite part, and it's a huge deal. There is no local footprint. Nothing is stored on your actual computer. Think about what that means for security, especially if you ever use a shared or public computer. It's a total game changer.
And you might think something this powerful must be complicated, but the workflow is actually surprisingly simple. You just sign up, launch an isolated session for an account, maybe attach a unique proxy if you want that extra layer, and then you log in to that one Gmail account. That's it. From then on, switching between these completely separate, isolated accounts is as easy as just clicking between browser tabs. All the hard work, all the complexity is handled for you in the cloud. Which brings us to the real goal here, mastering your digital identities. This isn't just about managing email anymore. This is about taking deliberate, strategic control of your online presence, both for a massive boost in productivity and for rock-solid security. And the payoff they're talking about is, well, it's huge. An 80% potential productivity boost. Now, how do they get that? By getting rid of all the friction, all the errors, all the mental load of context switching between accounts that aren't truly separate. It completely reframes the goal. It's not just about avoiding bad things, it's about fundamentally working smarter and faster. So if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Modern account management isn't about just finding a convenient shortcut. It demands a deliberate strategy, a strategy that is built on the foundation of technical isolation, not just simple convenience. It's time to shift our mindset from the easy way to the smart and secure way. And so we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In a world where we all juggle multiple online personas, for work, for play, for everything in between, what does it truly mean to have a single, secure digital identity? It's a bigger question than you might think. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.